So basically, I cannot stress, the fact um that the biggest mystery amongst us is the existence of incorporeal, intangible, ghostly. Okay, that's the definition of incorporeal. Something not consist of matter. Okay, it's ghostly, it's intangible. So we have these portals that we see on videos, and some of us think that they're CGI, right? And some of us take it as if it's real, and it all has the same type of process where it looks like there's a portal or opening or some type of white gate, some type of hole like in the atmosphere, split like a different dimension or a different world, right? And then you see something that's incorporeal because it didn't have flesh yet, and then it becomes, something of matter, not just flesh, but matter, basically embodiment. So you have to realize when I stress incorporeal, I'm asking about an orb at the same time and saying and guessing that UFOs and aliens are gas. So if I'm talking about the intangible life and the intangible world and the intangible dimension, is an orb considered corporeal or is it considered incorporeal? Now, besides that, besides we not really understanding, I honestly think it's incorporeal. I think those UFOs that we see, uh, for our own with our own two eyes, not necessarily the stuff that's like in Ohio that has the portal where the animals is running through. Like you see a little white cloud, a little white incorporeal like matter, like a see-through clear kind of white matter, and when it crosses a certain line it gets color. So that goes hand in hand with simulation also. If you're gonna say with simulation, then you have to believe that because that's what it is. And I'm saying that because if you play Roblox or Sims or any of those games like that, especially Sims, you see that's exactly what's happening. And you see those are pixels, those are graphics in pixels, right? So you got to think about graphics and pixels consist of graphics, dimensions, and colors. You see what I'm saying? So the color is there. So if you look at something that's incorporeal, 9 out of 10 times, or maybe 10 out of 10 times, it has no color, or is all color that's not consist of a matter like a blur or a shadow. Like if I see a blur or a shadow and it's not either clear, black, or white, is that incorporeal because of the embodiment? Is it a flash or is it a human body? Is it a canine body or is it a feline body or is it an insect or is it a bird or is it a whole bunch put together? You see what I'm saying? Like a hermaphrodite or something. You see what I'm saying? Not necessarily a transgender, an hermaphrodite, something that's born that way. A hermaphrodite has both sex organs naturally. It was born naturally that way. The new age of what that is basically humans making their own choice. So, um, when we see flashes are types of embodiment. You see, me, I think that's still considered incorporeal because it's not communicating with us on a certain level. Uh, you know how your animal cannot talk to you, but it can express its feelings. You see, that's what makes him corporeal or her corporeal or it corporeal because you can express it. That the flashes, all it does is scare the shit out you, make you suspenseful and auspicious. Just saying. Now, if you look at certain videos and certain videos aren't CGI, like you look at mine, and then you see certain videos from 2016 that was taken away. I could refresh your memory if you seen them on World Star or the Vine. Remember when they had the orbs flying and the orbs turning into birds? Certain people believed it. Certain people said that the reason why the government made birds is because of that specific reason. Orbs turn to birds, so they made their own bird and they have their own camera to view the sky and to view everything else, which is true also. So this is my point about if something is incorporeal and then comes to life, because that's kind of the same but the opposite as a bunny we've seen in Cleveland by that lady's house and them other things that come into embodiment. We seen the little white fuzz, and then when it crossed over into a certain boundary, it got color and it was a bunny. So certain things are CGI and certain things are real. And the government did a perfect job of confusing everybody. You know, the color white, a hard white, a heavy white, or a hard or heavy dark gray. Okay. So remember WorldStar, that was on WorldStar. Y'all can't front. They had the orbs flying, turning into birds, and some people was like, "Whoa, what was that?" This is before TikTok. This is after the YouTube sweep. So they had no good material on YouTube if they swept it already. You see what I'm saying? So you couldn't go for no verification, and that's why they showed it on something like WorldStar, because WorldStar could be shut down easily. You know, uh, so can YouTube, but YouTube has a lot more workers. When you have these channels, like right now, if you're not getting paid and you have a YouTube account, you are still registered and this close of being a worker. You actually still are a worker for YouTube, whether you like it or not, because they can send you a check because you signed up for them. You see? So that's what TikTok can do. But the video is about incorporalness or whatever, and the videos and the apps go hand in hand because they show them. Now, my point is, when you got people bugging out and saying, oh, the planes is crashing because of technical reasons, when you got other ladies bugging out saying, well, that pilot didn't look like a human being, or you had malfunctionings in engines all of a sudden, and we just been infested with orbs. So a lot of stuff in the sky that you see at night, if you do see it, it can be reflections from the sun. It's just heavier spaces. Like, you look at the sky, right? And now if you look at this big ass sky, just take a little piece, make your hand like this, like a snowball, make your hand, right, and put it to the sky. That's what I want you to do. Now that specific shape that you made with your hand, and you stuck it and you like burnt it into the sky with your hand, that can happen through temperature. So just like an accumulation of anything, whether it's dust or something, some type of pile or embodiment, matter, that's what matter is, automatically happens. It's just like when you get up from your seat and your seat is still warm. All right. So you can imagine if something in the sky happens, like an orb, something unexplainable, humans can't, what it's doing. And we happen to see it's functioning in this power that it deactivates battery, oil, electric, anything. It deactivates everything. So my point is, if you see something high in the sky and then all of a sudden it starts moving, it's a reflection from the sun. Remind you, there's plasma, which is a type of life. There's plasma in the sun. There's plasma everywhere, just like it's electricity. So basically, it's plasma picking up on plasma, and it can move like a magnet because it's life. Okay? So that's the scientific explanation. However, the religious explanation of it is that it does in fact impact us, and scientists just don't understand how, and they won't accept it when they hear it. So that's why you have to go to schools. You have to go to schools to get papers because it's in your credit. So once you in court and they see in your credit history that you have associates or bachelors, they always give you a chance, no matter how great the circumstances are. It just depends if they keep you alive or not. It's a little different. It works a little different. My point is, if you have people on a plane complaining about other people turning into shit in the plane, and we got birds turning into orbs, what else can happen? Can the actual orb and you viewing it, can the contact possess you like a demon? And then all of a sudden you on the plane and the shit is crashing? Hey, you took my word for it last video that if you see an orb, you consider that God. And you never met God a day in your life. You consider that prophecy. That's kind of a mutual agreement. If you say that by yourself, individually, solo, you can find people that might agree with you. Correct? I'm just saying. Okay. Now, what about if the whole transparency is true? As if you're not living right and you see it, you can fall into an accident in due time. Space. What is space? It's basically time. Not just sky, not just the heaven, not just paradise. Now, I'm just saying, you're seeing people in back of Kamala Harris shapeshifting. What if somebody like that is about to fly the plane and she lost the presidency and there's nothing to live for? We about to lose all the EBT and we about to lose all the money. We done got into this country and we just messed up now. Know about all the religions and everything. Just don't speak clear English. What about if that shit is possible? The sun gets you hot in the summer and there's beef in the summer. Why not an orb, a rare one? You see the sun every single day. Supposedly. They say the moon impacts you. It's a fool. It's a wrap. Why not a rare orb? Just don't see it. Maybe it's just a trail, a blood trail, a plasma trail, a trail of emotion, a Pandora's box of emotion. That's what it is. You open up the box, there's nothing in it. It's just like a temperature change. Like certain people, their attitude change if you open it. That's what it's supposed to consist of the box. See, people use these phrases and don't understand what they mean because you're using them like you rapping. You're using them like you making music. You feel me? You have to know about the antique you're talking about. Why does Mona Lisa look like George Washington? So I'm just saying, people bug out all the time. Stuff happens. Okay. But you cannot explain now. You can't explain these back-to-back-to-back crashes with these planes. This one didn't involve nothing but one plane, and that joint was terrifying. The last one was a collision. The yesterday, the day before, was a collision of two air vehicles. This one was just one. Was not a collision, and it was way worse. Is the pilots getting jammed up purposely? Is there a new hack system that these advanced Russians and Asian people have? Not just your TV. They won't just take over your TV. You can hear in the microphone. They could probably take over your autopilot. You never thought of that? That's not possible? You don't think that's possible? As a human being, I don't care how smart I am or how dumb you think I am. I don't care how smart you are or how dumb I think you are. You don't think there's a hack right now that they can use to hack your autopilot? Whether it's a plane or a fucking car or a boat. Hello? Come on. They got drones, little micro drones and they get scanned with the person's face, and they go to the right person and they explode in their face. Drones, little micro, they look like little snowballs. And they got a scan in your face, and they fly through the air, they fly through the sky. Miles, and they will come hunt you. They will come hunt you down. Yes, these little robots. They're gonna be in the air. They can just come to your door and everything and just explode right in your face. For them to show that on World Star, the Danae Davis, remember she was not of age and she got that STD? And now they tried to run it like she just got that? The one that burnt Deshae? Yeah, that Danae Davis, she was a porn star, but she was 16. That drink dropped a long time ago when they had the whole graphic footage when the dude had his infected self and she was there and she performed it. But this was years ago and they just re-dropping it, playing with age. It's a whole bunch of stuff. But World Star was something that got under everybody's nose. But they showed all of this on World Star when they took it away from YouTube. Honestly and truthfully, they can hack an EMP. If an EMP can take you out the way it takes you out, a pulsating pulsar, if an EMP could just black everything out, I think they could just stop an autopilot or autoplane or auto drive or auto ship. I really think they could. I'm just saying. When you die, you're worth $5,000 to the federal government. You feel me? That's what a toe tag is worth. That silver toe tag, if it's silver, it's real genuine silver. They put you in the silver, and then put you in the silver. It should be no flying or anything right now. It should be no flights and nothing. See, the president and the United States of America, they get word from who? You guessed it, the federal government. So if the federal government doesn't shut it down, it doesn't shut down a certain way. If the federal government opens you up, you have to open up. What you think? China shuts America down? Afghanistan shuts America down? North Korea? Mexico? No, it's the federal government. You are just land. You're just body. You're just land. You're just the floor. That's what the checkerboard is. And the Illuminati, when they show you that they stepping on y'all, that's what we are. Descriptive detail. Learn the types of writing and the types of readings before you judge anybody, especially somebody's education. Not only will I put you in a boxing ring and fuck you up, right? I will fuck you up when it comes to content. That's my point. That's my whole goal. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to inspire people. It doesn't matter which way you met me. If you met me when I was a nerd or if you met me when I was a fighter. Either way it goes, the story is I'll fuck you up. Both ways. Ain't shit changed. And I don't back down from no fucking body. You can't name not one person. I'm still searching. That's why I'm stuttering. It's over. Pollen make you sneeze. Is a orb making people go to sleep at the wheel? I don't know. 10 minutes later, 30 minutes later, or 45 days later, there's a sudden pneumonia. The federal government is plotting on America. That's the moral of this story. It should be no flights, no commercial airlines. That shows you something. That shows you that flying is federal. That shows you something because you still gotta wear masks and gloves to court. Certain people them inmates still gotta wear that shit. That's how you know flying in airplanes. That shit is federal. It has to be. Because if you could get away with certain, enigmas driving without a license, such as traveling instead of driving, think about it. Then there has to be something in the sky. Trump knows. That's why he's president. He knows stuff that we don't know. He knows about the federal loopholes. He owns too much property. So it's smart to hire him because he's going to bring America up because all of his stuff is in America. Duh. But the federal government don't like the nigga. And we don't know about the emails. So until then, like I said, I don't belong to the state. I belong to the federal government because I'm a graduate. I'm a bachelor. Yeah, you get handled differently. You see what I'm saying? The federal government wants them emails put out and all of these people exposed. And it's the city and states, and the elites in the city and states that's holding that shit back. And the federal government cannot believe it. Justified. You see why the federal government get mad? You see why the federal government will line you up by other countries and then let the other countries fight over the land of America? You see how that woman how them women be bugging out, be like, oh, he just changed into a whole other person. And then you forgot you seen a fucking orb turn into a bird. And then you learn about a skinwalker. Is it a cursed giant? Or is a tiny tree person a cursed giant? You pick. I don't know for sure. All I know is that this shit is in danger. Ben knew it. And it's getting worse. We done seen a lot of magical shit growing up. Majestical shit. Yes, we have. The technology fucks up the fantasy world. You can record it, but is it as much? Does it happen as much? The fantasy world, the fantasy realm. Does it happen as much due to these devices and due to this electricity? Me personally, this is the federal government slowly fucking us up. They closed it at the pandemic and they taught everybody a lesson because they had everybody in the crib, right? Watching them. Watching their behavior. Now, mind you, I talk about corporeal and incorporeal. Now, you can relate incorporeal, intangible, ghostly, to a feeling. It has to be. If you seen a rabbit crossing a portal, this shit had an unbelievable thirst, hunger, or somebody wanted the rabbit. Or the rabbit was useful for a coyote. And that was his purpose. Infants die. There's a such thing as an abortion. The world is constantly eating each other. An 8, damn it. A Google Infinite is an 8 knocked over. Listen to the words, to the ironic words that I'm using. That's how they correlate with each other. That's how scientists inside though, incorporeally, they correlate with each other. A skinwalker. I promise, I've never heard of a skinwalker, the word skinwalker, grown up until now. And then when I seen it, it looked different. I've never seen, I thought it would be a mummy. I was like, is it a mummy? No, it can't be a mummy. And it could just be just like the little bunny that came about. All of that stuff from 2016 is gone. Unfortunately, and you know, it was more that'll freak you out, that'll bug you out. Maybe they'll drop it. The most interesting videos, believe it or not, are the videos that's 6 hours long, 8 hours long, 9 and 12 hours long. Yeah, I was watching those videos. It wasn't just BS. This was real. You gotta really tune in. I really tuned in and watched that. Yes, 12-hour videos. Tuned in. No video game, no nothing. No reading, no nothing. I watched that joint. Plenty of them. Especially the animals. Incorporeal, I'm telling you. That's it. I consider it incorporeal because it's a ghost. It has that shit is a ghost. I don't care what nobody say. It's a ghost. What did it do? It did nothing but fly like fucking Casper. That's all it did. A demon is a black ghost. Okay? Casper was a white ghost. He was still a dead little boy. It does not matter. That's why we have racism and it works. That's why if there is aliens, they laugh at us. You understand that? Because the white people that don't look nothing like us, they just as dead at us, just in a different way, and they get mad because they just like us, and this shit is funny. Animals laugh. Jackals, you ever heard of a jackal? A jackal laughs. You ever heard of a lynx? A lynx will laugh. You ever heard of a crow and a raven? And goose and geese? Them shits laugh. Not just hyenas. Not just smiling, they laugh. Yeah. Shit laughs. Think about that. A fucking animal is laughing. That shit is laughing. Making you laugh. It's odd. The world is odd. We haven't gotten everything figured out. That's why we hopped on the same schedule of religion, work, and whatever happens at the end just happens at the end. The world is bizarre. People just want to stay up to see the phenomenons. I have to open your eyes and retell you in 2016 that they had the wolves walking on their back legs. And the face changed. It looked like a cloud over their face. That's incorporealness to me. I don't care. I win. There's nothing you can say. Ghostly, intangible, something not consist of matter. How the hell do you make education and then consist that of education and then call somebody crazy and don't give them mental health? Don't give them no benefits or nothing. But then they say pareidolia. You see? That's a form of ink. That's what you see. Incorporeal. If you see in a face, that's symbolic to an animal's face changing. I don't care what nobody say. That's shape shifting. I don't care what nobody say. It's the ghostly shit. You feel me? It rhymes in attitude and behavior. Look at Star from the Star Report. He did not come down on DJ Academics enough. We know Star is racist. So if there was a black kid that DJ Academics would have said that shit to, Star would have tore him out. Star would have probably sent the goons at him. But that's the world that we live in. Because, Star said something foul, and graphic within the same grounds of a minor. You see? You see how Star instantly gets tricked? He shows his racism, then he shows what he did before by not coming down on Academics. But he said something. You feel me? It shows. That's why I said it's a plasma trail. It's a blood trail. It's a sweat trail. It's a shadow. You feel me? Y'all gotta wake up. Heat. It all of a sudden get hot. You don't see heat all the time. You see the sun, but you don't see it all the time. You don't see the sun when the heater on. Feel me? The world is full of. That's what that chemical reaction and chemical combustions and science is seeing what it is. It's just a cover up for the magic of the earth, the depleted earth. They done found super mega earths way bigger than this, but these niggas is still over here. That shit means something. I don't care what nobody say. That's what they need to drop. They need to drop the 2016 sweep. Banned from TV. Remember that? Remember we used to watch Banned from TV and bum fights? People getting electrocuted and all that? Yeah. Drop that with YouTube. I could really entertain you. I remember a lot of that stuff. Took the whole video. That's why I went missing. I went back to work. I said, oh shit. I always had 2 and 3 phones. Maybe 4. I had 4. A Windows, an iPhone, a Droid. Well, I had 2 Droids. A Windows and an iPhone. But it wasn't the same type of Droid. You see what I'm saying? I was on it. While I was working, while I had my 9 to 5. Yes. Working overnight, 16-hour shifts. Illegally working 24. That's another thing that's about to get stomped in the head. Y'all about to get stomped. Yup. Federal about to come straight for that shit. And so many immigrants over here working 24 hours. Yes. Living in the residence. 24 hours. Oh yeah. Dude, I was ready. I already knew about, all of the systems that could get you the views. All of the systems that could get you automatic comments or automatic likes. I already knew about that. I knew about that shit years ago. People remember me in high school. I used to have burnouts. I used to have all of the illegal shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I was privy on it. I just fell back from it because my homie started wilding on it. And people started getting hurt. A 2-way page, remember the 2 ways? The Sky Tells, the All Tells, Burnout Nextels, not just the Blackberries, the Blueberries. Remember the AOL Blueberries? Had all of that. Had them in pink. Had all of that. You see what I'm saying? So I was always hip to the Fed game. But I got rid of that shit because I already knew this was it. If you're gonna go to Fed jail, you might as well go to Fed jail for YouTube money. Because they can't take all your money if you hide it, right? You see how they help you? You see how people help you by making prepaid debit cards? Stuff like that. With the limits? Yeah. I was well prepared. I got shocked. The videos weren't there anymore. I was like, oh. Content does not add the big ass question mark on it. The big ass white question mark on it. Or it had the closed eyes with the X on it. Dead serious. From Lying I'm Flying. Some of the titles you could type in, you could probably see spin-offs of the video, but the real good shit that I want y'all to see, it's not there. Just like that genie. That's not there in that movie. Yeah. Bet it. Bet it. 99 types, what was it? 99 alien race types. And then it was footage from other planets around Earth. Yeah, The footage from planets around Earth. You gotta look deep into the archives. You're gonna find those people that used to work in the government that bugged out and ran to the public and wanted to make this shit public and show y'all. People like me, right? They just got a different appearance. They old and white, and they got a whole bunch of money, and they probably got a bunker underground. Dead ass serious. Because they know about incorporealness. Yeah, keep fucking around. Calling people crazy. Imaginary shit, but you got an imaginary victim, imaginary friend that you make a victim all the time. Yeah. When that nigga's ancestor come back from a white orb and he hit ground, he turned into a warlord and come impale your ass, then it's something, right? Yeah, I'm just saying, yo. We still new. We still new to the earth. I don't know it, but hundreds of thousands of years, people used to live for hundreds of thousands of years. They trying to look at the next phenomenon in the sky. Think about that. What's happening when you really go to sleep? Because that's incorporeal. They just don't want to tell you. That's you going into the incorporeal realm. It's not conscious because you're not conscious. Dreaming, daydreaming, talking to yourself. Those sporadic behaviors. All of a sudden you got the paranoia, and your heart is just being, yeah, that comes from being weak. Yeah, it does. But to help the people that's not strong enough to do it, if your heart is the strongest muscle in the body, right? And it's naturally picking up on something, and you have to run. You have to run, like they say. You have to run to get your heart stronger. I think you kind of, and the government saves you by that. I think you answered your point. You see the difference between being disabled and handicapped? Right, so you need your heart to be strong to get over that fright, the franticness, the paranoid feeling. Yeah, so you have to run. But now it looks like something invisible is making him run. See, the government thought that shit was funny. Until you realize that the nigga wasn't fast enough and he wasn't strong enough and he needed to practice to run. And he just sat there and rolled on the floor and pissed and shit and threw up on himself. Because he was dehydrated. And he wasn't a good runner. Doesn't it make sense? Yeah, incorporeal. Yup. That's what the feds, why hasn't the federal government shut down the sky yet? Close it for 72 hours. No flights for 72 hours. I didn't ask for 24. I said 72. People are falling asleep. If anything in this world that's going to put you to sleep and you don't know about it, I think it could be an orb. Hypnosis, you got me. Okay, you got me, hypnosis. But I think an orb could put you to sleep too. Shut down the sky. The federal government they don't care about America. They don't care about us. We some savages, that's why. We've been savaging on shit for years. They just, time is up, you know what I'm saying? That's what they really want to do. Better be aware of that. Telling you now. That's crazy. Yeah. And that guy that sat by Fuzi, he had the demon face syndrome. Go look up Fuzi. Yeah, go look that up. That's incorporeal. See how his face changed? That's incorporeal living in you. That's the subconscious. They don't teach us that in school, in high school. They only make you racist in high school just so you can have a tolerance to work a 9 to 5 and to get accustomed and used to a white person or somebody else of it that's not of indigenousness here. That's your boss. If you're working, that's really not taking the business side, but if in the entrepreneur side, but if you're working, that's the safe haven. All right, I'll give you. All right, I help you out again. I feel like I can help you out because I feel like you gamble and maybe you'll get stuck on the second step. All right. So say for instance, I had a job and we ended the partnership. I ended the job, right? And it ended where I had to file a charge or maybe a lawsuit against my former employer. Comes to find out I got enough evidence and I can file a charge and it could go to the second stage, okay? Let's just say, for instance, that happens. Before it hits the third stage and they pay me out what I'm asking for, they can be like, well, we'll settle for you, right? We'll settle with you. We apologize. We'll write a note. And in your job history, you're welcome back. We'll just settle with you. Just let some time go by. So say, for instance, instead of going to court, I just want to settle with like the Division of Human Rights, okay? You got me? A job. They gave me some money. They gave me some back pay money and they gave me some compensation money. I now take this money. I open an EIN, right? I cash these checks. Instead of getting them directly deposited into a bank account, I go to a check cashing spot and I got a cashier's check and they got a lot of O's in the back, but they got to fulfill the requirements because it's a cashier's check, right? And I pay to cash my check. Me, before getting my EIN, me having a social security number, which is your business name, and everyone that's born here has one, you have now just indulged in business. Understand that. You just indulged in business by cashing your check and them taking $250 out of your check, and you probably got about $13,000 or $14,000 just for one of the compensation checks, and you got about 3 more checks on the way, and you could get your job back in a matter of time, right? But you got a $14,000 check and they took away $200. The federal government is not behind your back telling you, keep your receipt, put this on your tax forms, and you can get this back. They're not telling you that. But that's the freedom that they grant. And that's the education they try to prompt you on when you're a little kid. And they keep you as a little kid to get you smarter, to carry you on until you become older and wiser to understand capital, cash, and income. And then they teach you about the federal government and how you are owned by the federal government. So everything we do, all the taxes that they charge us, everything, that's all business. That's supposed to be under your social security number. So that's why they give you an option to open an EIN so you can start fresh, because you're fucked. Any type of money you spent from a kid, it wasn't collected unless your peoples is on you like that. Understand that? So on the tax write-offs, you make the copies and send them to the IRS. Everything you spent will come back to you. That's a natural fact. However, the IRS and the federal government, they have guidelines that you got to pay certain taxes every year to keep up with that money. So that $1,500, $1,200, $1,400, some people have been getting that their whole life. And then some. Understand that. So a lot of us we're suffering because we weren't doing that. And we weren't properly doing our taxes the right way, saving the receipts, making the copies and sending them to the IRS, having a proper business form, putting the amount of money as an accumulation, use a calculator, and then just having the whole thing right there and then circling it. Putting it on line 14 or line 41 or line 80 or an exclusion, and you'll get it back at the end of the year. You do. Now, I learned it late. And truthfully, when you learn it late, it's not worth it because it's a process. You have to pay certain fees, but it's worth it. If I only got to pay an extra $270 for the year, and I could potentially get $1,200 to $17,000 or however much I paid, it's worth it. It's a come up. Or if you have a lower standard business and you only have to pay $35, an extra $35 a year, and you'll get back an extra $600 the most, it's worth it, right? You just have to have this stuff to back it up. You have to be prompt on paying it, and you have to be cordial and know, because they're not feeding you this IRS federal government information. That's why they told you better go your ass to college. These courses in college, they're mandatory. It doesn't matter what you major in. If you're majoring in computer science, you have to take about 4 or 5 art and craft classes with clay and drawing. And if you don't take these classes, you won't touch your major. That's college for your ass. So when you show the federal government that you was on a gamble, you was on a lottery, you did it in a certain amount of time, you took out this amount of money, and this is what happened, this, that, and the third, you prove a point. Because you belong to the feds as people, as having a business name, your social security number. What do you mean you don't belong to the feds? You have a social security number, right? And if you don't have one, you come to this country, they asylum the shit out you and they lock you up, right? They put you in containers and cabinets and shit, right? And underground. They tell you, as a parent, don't take no bill out of your kid's name. Remember that? A lot of these people that's doing business, that got money already, their tax write-off come with their business partner. It's either their wife, their brother, cousin, or their best friend. So they not buying things in regular stores where they have to worry about their tax write-off. They buying them from each other, surviving off each other, writing it off on a tax write-off. They're both certified businesses. All you have to do is just use your social security number. And then when it comes time to talk to the IRS, and you know what I know, you'll be fine. Because I'm about to call the IRS and spaz on these niggas. I just did, and I got my way. I'm about to spaz again and get my way. Because I know the system. And I got the paperwork and the paper trail to prove it. You see? I was on shit with these people. So basically, the federal government is basically incorporeal to us, people. We don't see them half Palladian aliens, half people, or half lizard, half Martian people. We don't see them every day. So that shit is incorporeal, if you ask me. If I can feel your presence and you have some type of effect on my life, and I don't like it and I can't remove it, then guess what? That shit is a ghost. You're a ghost to me, right? And you're haunting me. And I have to take an embodiment so I can finally see you, so I can get rid of this shit that's annoying me. I taught you about Vasu Sastra, dwelling in teaching. Dwelling in teaching. They tell you to look forward. You don't want to look too many different ways. You might be dwelling in teaching something. They're not going to teach you in court if you constantly know about dwelling and teaching, then you can beat a murder. So they change the language. Learn the language. Who makes the language? The feds. The federal government. So basically, yes, the United States of America is still under a terrorist attack. Absolutely. You're just not getting paid PUA for it. You're not getting treated good for it. They just make you more susceptible to harm now. They cared about us for a year and 6 months? They cared about us for a year and 6 months. Yeah, they paid you, go be with your families. You thought it was just for that time. No, they told you, you better do that shit forever and run, because we are on your asses. See, you see how racism teaches you something? Because when you're so accustomed to getting your way around your people, you can have a laugh, even at your own fault. If you slip and bust your ass, right? And it's a whole bunch of Spanish people, y'all just gonna laugh it off. Or if it's a whole bunch of black people, y'all just gonna laugh it off. But if somebody from a different ethnicity slipping for certain people, they gonna either feel some type of way or they gonna laugh or not care. So it's always a spin. It's not always you versus somebody else. It's always somebody that's versus y'all. And you can't stop it. I can't stop it. I can just see the shit. You see the bags? The bags is from me waking up and laughing. I'm not gonna lie. I've been laughing. I don't know why, but I've been laughing because I've been watching y'all TikToks. And y'all are new to this shit, making all this money and can't explain what's happening. So I see as a human being of 38 years old that you are actually somebody's child. You are actually somebody's kid. I don't care about how much money you have. I don't care about how you live. I don't care what you're doing right now. I'm going to just tell you one thing. I see in each and every person, it doesn't matter how old you are, and I'm smiling and laughing, that you are somebody's child. I want you to remember that. Everybody that watches my content, everybody that still, you can feel whatever you feel away about me. You can feel whatever you feel away about my little cousins. All of them. From Deshae to Vaughn, to Leonard, to David. You can feel whatever you want. But I'm looking at y'all and I can actually laugh and smile. And see that y'all somebody's children. And I don't have any children. I look at my little cats, as a figure, I'm their human being. I guess it's parentalness there. But y'all are actually seeing shit that I knew as a shorty. And y'all niggas still can't talk about it. Otherwise, y'all videos, you wouldn't be showing TikTok. YouTube, you wouldn't be showing TikTok. That quick. Now, we all know y'all niggas cheated in school. And I'm the little nigga you cheated off of. I already told my mom. I told my dad. I told the teachers. I told everybody, yes, I helped them. So what? Because I knew the outcome. They're not gonna know it right then and there. Are they gonna learn it longevity? It's possible. That's the outcome. If I wrote it and you learned it, you learned it. I used to write the best papers. I still do. But if you learn from it, it's an accomplishment. These people that's accusing us of cheating, they some fucked up people because I taught you. That's what I used to do. So if you're watching my content and I'm showing you something, I can see that your parents loved you and this was your life. You see how you can't really anoint me? None of y'all niggas. Nobody can anoint me the way you think you can anoint me. You can only anoint me the way it has to be, and it has to happen. Remember that. I'm just saying. What y'all gonna do now? Because I wasn't a real person. I was imaginary with the pedophile. I'm still imaginary. Every day is life. That's why a lot of y'all boys fell in my subconscious. So since we all humans, and we really just still don't know stuff, hello, how you doing? It's finally nice to meet you. Feel me? Did you want to blast from the past? Because this technology was out a long time ago. Or did you want to find a ghost from the past? Because I'm the technology. I'm the ghost from the past. You feel what I'm saying? What did you want to blast? I'm the ghost in the technology. You see, look at this shit. Hassan Campbell is flamed. He didn't know. I put him on to a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch. You see his videos change. He not wilding out. He deep into no matter what you say, he deep into the spiritual realm. He could not talk about the spiritual realm. They be in the barbershop and they really can't talk about this shit. Look how he acting. If the ball is in his court to keep us alive, we all dead. Excuse me? Okay. I'm gonna end it like this. Look at it like this. Y'all all looking for consciousness and y'all looking for chakras, right? Doesn't the orb look like a colorless chakra? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It looks like a colorless chakra, right? Or it looks like the one or the white one, right? The safe haven. Y'all see what I'm saying, right? A safe haven. After humans, the earth is still be here. Water or waterless. Human or humanless. It's still gonna be here. Look up Hinge. You know how I flip stuff? I said go out on a hinge. You forgot I talked about the dude that was fishing off the moon? Remember they showed that in the Disney and all of that? The dude with the fishing rod that's fishing off the moon? Now look up Hinge. I said I'm gonna go out on a hinge. I'm kinda like that nigga.